Betsy, what are we up to?
All right, well, we are looking for Olympia oysters. We're here in Case Inlet. We're in a spot where there's a pretty good collection of Olympia oysters, so I'm trying to find out where I should throw this hula hoop because we're going to be counting Olympia oysters inside this hula hoop. And I'm guessing that wherever I throw it here, there are going to be a fair number of Olympia oysters. So I'm just going to plop it down, okay? And if you look at this space circumscribed by the hula hoop, it sort of looks like indeterminate shell material.
Yeah.
To most eyes, okay? But within this hula hoop,
what do we got?
There are a lot of Olympia oysters. So you've got to take a closer look, and you'll also see lots of other things, okay? But here is a live Olympia oyster. So I'm just going to set my glasses over there. So we've got 1, 2, another live one, 3, 4, and I'm just going to be able to continue to pluck them out of this nice wet bed. You see it's got a little soft silt on the surface, but it's pretty firm. It's got some Pacific oyster shells. Underneath that big shell that I just picked up is a live Olympia oyster. On this Pacific oyster shell over here, there's an Olympia oyster set on the shell material itself.
Oh, really? They're the native oysters are growing on the Pacific oyster?
Yes, exactly. Here's another live Olympia oyster, pretty fat one. And I could just continue to count these. And this is a pretty healthy bed of Olympia oysters. There are others like this in Puget Sound, but there aren't that many beds that have a fair density of oysters. So we're trying to rebuild these beds where you start to get a really healthy collection of organisms living in this same space, with the oysters providing a nice organizing structure for all of that. And this is going to take some years, okay? But there are a lot of different partners in place and a lot of interest by private tide landowners as well as state tide landowners. And there are funders interested and partners and tribes and growers, and so we're looking forward to rebuilding Olympia oyster populations in Puget Sound so that we can reestablish some of the historic core populations that have made Puget Sound what it is.